Do-do-do. Hello, everyone. I was going to say good evening because it's evening where I am, but not necessarily where you are. My name is LRock. Twitch tag is LRock617. Hope you're all having an amazing weekend so far. I got a few games I'll be playing for you today. I'm going to start with the game that, in a lot of ways, got me into speedrunning. And I actually ran it for the last SNES Superstars, so a year and a half ago. Difference being, at that time, I ran the Mania category, just because I thought it was necessary to show off the highest level of skill. But in this case, I'm going to go with the easy category, which is not only the primary category for the game and the most run, but it's also the fastest way to complete the game, and isn't that what we're trying to do in speedrunning? It's also the most fun run, because you have a lot more quick kill strategies on enemies. The boss strats are pretty much all the same, but in this case, we're going to go ahead and take it on easy. I don't need to uptick the number of lives. It's just not necessary. So we're going to go from game start at 3, 2, 1, go. Mash start through all these cutscenes. Hey, how's everybody doing? Good to see you all. See my name, y'all are amazing. So this is a beat 'em up. We're going to zip our way forward to our first section here. And we're going to notice right away is Batman has an infinite in this game that's utilized by pressing the R button, which is actually a block button. Not very common to see block buttons in beat 'em ups, but Konami had the awesome idea to put one in this game, and it lets us abuse the heck out of this punch string, which does a lot of damage, and it doesn't kill enemies, so it just allows us to incorporate a lot of touch of death elements. We also have these motorcycles that come in, but they're taken out simply by a batarang, so that's pretty great. Manipulate this rocket guy at the bottom. These guys don't have much health, so we're going to try and cut through them as quickly as we can. Good section there. Take out this guy. Wanted to get them looped. Hope that rocket hits him. Okay, so now I just need one string there to take him. This section's finicky. I still have problems with it to this day. Okay, let him get hit. That'll work. Didn't actually have to hit him, but that works. Stop that. This is the only rocket guy in the entire room you have to hit, was that guy right there. I did not want to kick him in the face. The roundhouse is really bad. Anytime you ever see me do it, it's only because I messed up. It's always better just to cancel it and start punching again. It's faster that way. Cool little bit there, shows off the sound design. Take out those guys there. You also see a lot of use of the noggin knocker there, which is just a way to kill two enemies at the same time. It does a lot of damage. It's like 4 punches worth of damage. Zip forward to this thing. Drop a test tube, which just clears the screen. Let these 2 motorcycles spawn. Ah, I missed it. It's unfortunate. If you time the extra joy right, it kills both enemies on each side. So this room's great. All you have to do is hold right, and you just get to move on through. There's only a chance of one thing hitting you, and it's random. You get these big clowns, like that guy's gonna hit me. There you always get 2 enemies. You want 2 purple ones, because they won't hit you at all, but a green one will touch you. Nothing you can do about it. Like I said, it's a dice roll. So on to our first boss. Here we have Stunning Steve. Oop. One less hit than I would have liked, but we got to finish him off quickly. That fight's really cool because it has a cinematic element to it. You pull your grappling hook into the wall, and it pulls into the back of his head, which does a whopping 64 damage. By comparison, punches are 6 damage. So to do 6 times that in one attack is pretty massive. And then from there, you just finish him off with batarangs. Followed by a test tube to clear it. On to our second stage. This is maybe the most complicated stage in the run. Not necessarily being the hardest, just the stage where a lot of stuff happens. By far the longest stage in the run. Drop these guys there. You also see me do a lot of chokeholds that are meant to initiate grab setups. We're dragging an enemy from one to another just to make sure they get grouped. Take out that guy with a batarang. That was a little slow. But this section's interesting. I actually like it because it got me to incorporate a backup strat as a real strat. We'll let these guys spawn. I drop a test tube there because the green clown has way too much health. There's just no reason to fight him if you don't have to. He has like green boss health. Take this guy out here. This is also my favorite music track in the game. I love this song. Kill that guy. Throw him into the barricade. Throw him into the sign. Some more great sound design elements. One of my least favorites, he spawns off screen. Okay, so here's where we're going to get into why easy is great. On easy, you can punch those guys forward like so, walk them over the bomb that they try to throw at you, and it kills them. On Mania or any other difficulty, it wouldn't do that. Explosives do absurd amounts of damage to enemies in this particular category. Difficulty, I should say. Cool little swag move there, choke slamming a clown into a motorcycle. Don't even need the health. Drag this guy over here. I'm going to drag this guy up here as well. Another cool thing about the grab, if Batman's holding an enemy, when he moves left or right, he doesn't turn in the other direction, which is pretty awesome. On another side-scrolling stage, we're going to make some use of damage boosts, like this one right here. Just glitch through this guy. That one we can't damage boost through. He always knocks us back. Good tactics there. You saw one of these in the first stage for the boss. You'll see a few of these throughout the rest of the game. They're just side-scrolling stages. They take everything out of the beat-em-up element, turn it into more of like a run-and-gun, where batarangs are your only offense as opposed to punching things. Gonna take another damage boost here because everything's on fire. We're gonna move forward. I find it best not to damage boost through these logs. These things do a lot of damage. It's best to just kind of move around them because if they knock you to the floor, it goes really slow. So you don't really... If there's a time difference either way, it's not massive enough to matter. I'd rather just have the health. Jump out the window for swag. These sword guys, if they're holding their sword down their throat like that, you actually can hit them with the batarang and it takes off half their health. It's kind of hard to time, but it's worth doing. Otherwise, if you throw a batarang at them, it's bad because they just block it. Take out these two guys at the same time. These guys spawn. I prefer to test tube there just because those two are so far apart. This guy. This section's also fairly complicated. This guy is going to throw this bomb, but of course he delayed because they usually do. The best pattern is definitely the least common, but I prefer to deflect the bomb like so there because it just kills every enemy it touches. Do like so. More walking forward. Let this guy come in. Got a noggin knocker here. Missed the past couple attempts to this, but that's supposed to be a despawn. Oh, hey, I got it that time. Nice. It despawns the clown to get knocked to the left. I'm going to test tube some sections of guys here just to make it go quicker. Take out this guy. This one I'm going to walk forward just so I can group them together. Grab the health because why not. Last test tube. We get 5 in this stage, which is pretty unprecedented. And I'm going to take the last two guys out here. Onto our boss. We're going to alter up the infinite to make sure we can just kill him with one punch. Over and over and over again. Finish him off with a slam for swag, as why not? I tell people this all the time, but the first time I ever pulled that off, that's what got me into speedrunning. It's just so much fun to be able to do that. Gonna take a quick break from the beat-em-up sections. We have a back-to-back side-scroller here. First one, it's just an auto-scroller. It's really boring, except for the fact that there's a manipulation strat that ended up being one of the funniest things in the run. So I'll kill that guy real quick. Not much you can do with him. These guys are going to pop out. They're going to take one swing at Batman, and I don't know why they thought one punch was enough, but they're just going to go do that. Decide they're better off elsewhere. Let this guy spawn, take care of him. Gonna move across this side. That's really the only way you can lose time, is getting from the left side to the right slow. Next one, we're going to do the same thing, just let them not hit us. This guy's my favorite, though. This purple guy on the right is my hero. You walk towards him, and he just... he literally decides he'd rather just not deal with Batman. Pretty great. Ah, missed some jumps there. We didn't lose any time. It just looks cooler if you can nail them both while they're airborne. Okay. This stage, this is actually one of the very few sections that involves a bit of platforming. Move down here. Always take the low road here. The high road has way too many enemies, so we're just going to Bonnet Commando our way across. There's a jump here that's a little tricky I'm going to try and go for. Okay, didn't get it. there's a way you can jump avoiding a punch from the purple guy as well as the rocket. It's really hard, but sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. You don't lose much time if you get hit, but it always looks better and saves time if you do. If you're able to dodge it, that is. For this, we're just going to let the elevator scroll up, let these 2 enemies spawn. Did not want a purple one, that's unfortunate. So let this other tall clown spawn and drop a test tube. The reason we do that there is because there's another tall clown that would spawn if we didn't wipe those guys out all at the same time. There can only be 3 enemies on screen at once in this game. Alright, on to our first actual hard boss. Simply because while we can infinite Catwoman with 1 punch, missing it on her is not good. Like, we don't want that. So let's hope for the best. Okay. Good infinite there. Yeah, it's if you drop that combo, it's really bad. Catwoman gets the invincible out of it and do backflips, and it's really, really hard to catch her because when she's backflipping, you can't hit her, and when she's coming out of backflip to dash at you, you can't hit her. It's really ugly. You don't want it. So we're in a good spot here. Start stage 4. Now this sequence is actually based on a timer. There's not a specific number of enemies we have to fight, so I'm going to dance with this guy for a little bit, let another one spawn. I could just cut through enemies left and right here if I really wanted to, but I just don't see the point. Instead, I'm just going to let those 2 guys show up, and then we get to move on. It's all sound cues from there. Same thing here, but this section's a bit tougher because they vary up the kind of enemies that you can get. It's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. The more fat clowns you get, the worse it is. Don't want those. I'm gonna let this guy just jump at me. Oof. They're really cranking on the woodwork here. Sorry, I got some weird patterns there. I had to stay quiet and pay attention. This room, however, is not random. Everything is completely fixed. Combo those guys to death with that placement, which is pretty great. Gonna go into our next room. Drop a test tube in the first wave just because they're way too spread out. Plus the fire clowns just have a lot of health. Move back this way, drop another test tube. We've got one more guy that's going to pop in the bottom left who dies in 3 hits, so he's not a threat. This guy's going to move up to get hit by all this stuff. I used to have this really cool grab setup here for this section, but turns out test tube's faster, so we're just going to do that. On to Catwoman, the rematch. This match is actually a lot easier. She can't go invincible like she can in the first fight. That being said, the strat is exactly the same. Just punch her to death and you're good to go. We will, however, have one slight change up to the ending of the fight. You're watching her health total here. We're going to go to the left. Reason we do that is because wherever she dies, it triggers this cutscene where she walks over to the Gotham Ice Princess. If she's all the way to the right, she walks really, really slow. From the left, she still walks slow, but she's closer. So it speeds up the cutscene even more. On to the hardest fight in the game, the Penguin. Not the last time we'll see him, but definitely the first and by far the most annoying. It's another run and gun boss. Basically just a big troll. Big thing to avoid is actually getting touched by the Penguin. That's unfortunate, because he does so much damage. Saw there, he collided with us and we lost like 40% of our health. Not really surprised at that death. I die in this fight pretty often. It's a really hard fight to gauge properly. His movement patterns are not fixed. Plus, sometimes he just lands right above you to really troll you. Sometimes he comes to the other side when he's not supposed to. You know, he's a jerk. Not a great fight, but I've had worse. Get our cutscene and move on to the next stage. Everyone say bye to the Ice Princess. We won't be seeing her again, at least not until the next time I run this game. Alright, so this stage has had a major overhaul that was discovered in the past few months, and shoutouts to another runner of this game named West Point Steve for discovering this. I'm sorry, West Point Steve, another beat-em-up runner. So in this stage, you can actually save a significant amount of time by holding up on the controller, because apparently that lets the Batmobile go into turbo mode. I didn't know this existed until he pointed it out. And I thought, I wonder if that actually saves time. So I tried it in a run, and I think my gold split for my first attempt with that was something like 13 seconds. So We got to drop the time of the run below 22:30 because of that. My previous PB before that was something like it was like a 22:48 or something, 22:52, somewhere around there, and that easily got me to be able to drop it down to the 22:22 it is now. The reason it's faster, despite the fact this is an auto-scroller, is because the enemies are going to be right in front of you, and you can kill them a lot quicker. That wasn't the best exhibition of it. We'll maybe get another shot of it later. Speed through the highways of Gotham City. Yeah, I used to dread this stage, but saving a whopping 13 seconds on it was huge. Like, I was massively appreciative of the fact that someone was able to find that. I was kind of mad that I wasn't the person that found it, but shout out to Steve nonetheless. I'm going to stay in the middle here. A little harder to stay in the middle. It did make the stage a lot more execution intensive, but well worth it. See, like, okay, so that guy was right in front of us the whole time, and we just shredded him with whatever these discs are. This guy's being a troll, though. We would have, without turbo, you can't possibly kill one guy that fast. So on to our boss, the appropriately named Campaign Van. Still more of the same, we're just going to be shooting him with these discs. Turbo didn't really change this fight all that much. I think it made it maybe a little bit faster, maybe 1-2 seconds, but I don't really think so. It's a pretty easy fight, though. Just avoid what he does. The rockets can't home in on you on easy difficulty like they can on Mania. Avoid the caltrops, and you're good. Quite the stage. If Batman doesn't kill the bullets, do, yeah, no doubt. Skip through this cutscene. Alright, we got 2 stages left. This stage is probably the hardest stage in the game, for my money. I'm gonna zip forward to these guys, drop a bomb immediately. This still tags them on the ground, which is awesome. Do it again. Alright, now we got some enemies to undercut here. Good grouping, for sure. Fortunately, this big guy here always prevents this last guy from spawning. He always spawns last no matter what. Can't do much about that. Pro tip, stay on the top section here. If you do, these bombs that are being thrown from the background can't touch you. You're invincible to bombs in this exact pixel. I threw it before I got to him. Sometimes that happens. I'm not mad. Got more of those guys. Maybe we'll get both of them. Yeah, there we go. Getting both those guys is great. Headbutt him, please. We're gonna drag him forward. What I wanted. Alright, this section is a little finicky. You've got these steel bars that are there to just make your life hell. Jump over this one. Cool thing is they kill most enemies that would spawn on the screen. Some exceptions apply. Those purple clowns there, unfortunately, they're allowed to actually jump the bars, so they're pretty inconsequential to that, so you generally have to fight them. Last couple sections of enemies are going to drop these bombs. Take this health and move on to the end for the boss. Our boss is nothing special. He can be a jerk sometimes, but it's another infinite boss. Big difference is he has enemies that flank him. They can actually interrupt you, which is relevant, but as long as you're in a solid spot like right here, they generally aren't going to be much of a bother to you. Oh, that guy's going to that side. I've never seen this before. As long as he doesn't touch me, I don't care, but I'm kind of worried right now. Okay, cool. He didn't bother me. I had never actually seen them get to the other side, so I was like, whatever happens, happens. If he tags me, I'm done, but good thing that worked out the way it did. Alright, on to our last stage. Really cool setup I found here. We're going to let this guy walk up here, let him drop the bomb, takes out all of them, puts them all in place to get punched to death. Walk him forward to the bomb he dropped. Gotta let those rockets fire and then we can move on. Still love that strat. Take out that guy. Take got another motorcycle guy. I got one more motorcycle guy, one more rocket guy. Oh yeah, there's one more motorcycle. I keep forgetting. He closes it out. There's a despawn strat here I'm going to go for that I don't normally get, but I'm still going to go for it nonetheless. Because there's no reason not to. See if it despawned him. It didn't work. We would know if it worked because if it did, a motorcycle would have spawned on screen immediately. Let's throw this into him. Upset that we missed our time save. I'm not actually upset. I'm just... Batman would be. So these rockets are annoying. Luckily, unlike Mania, they're not random. Or they don't have, like, homing capability. Here, they're just completely fixed. Didn't want to knock that guy down. Zip over here to take out this last guy. So these next 3 sections, there's going to be a yellow clown on the left side every single time at the very end. And I have no control over that. They're always going to show up there at the end. Alright, this section's kind of rough. You have 2 particular style of enemies, and they both work very, very well with each other. You have these fat clowns that can jump, and you have these fire clowns that have really, really good range. Didn't want that to happen. Wasn't sure they were coming from there. Ah! You only have so many frames before you're allowed to block. And there, I had exhausted them, I guess. This guy out here. This next section, we're just going to zip right through these guys. Leave them here to get hit. Rocket takes out the big guy, which is nice. I think that should kill him, but I actually don't know for sure. Hard to say. I did not, actually. Still not mad. Let's use this as a setup. These guys are all over the place today. Yeah. Alright, I actually have to retain control of this. Bear with me, everybody. Getting that low on health, I didn't want to take another death, so I wasn't sure what was going to happen there. Take this health. We're going to chill here and block while these rockets fire off. Doesn't really matter that we get hit, and we're just going to exhaust our test tubes through here. We picked up 4 throughout the course of the stage. Started with 3 and picked up another one, so we're just going to finish these guys off rather than fight them. There's too much variety in enemies, and they're just spread out all over the place, so I just rather take it back to the Stone Age. On to our final 2 bosses. That was not good. Everybody shout out to the rubber duck. It's a pretty bad duck fight so far. Ideally, you want to be able to get 3 hits on the ground and 2 hits while airborne. Missed like a full cycle and a half because of that. Not my best duck fight. But not the worst big deal either. Ideally, you want to kill them close to the ground, because that triggers the transition to end of stage faster. So on our final boss, here we have the penguin. Another infinite boss, so this takes about 70 hits, so bear with me. Talk about it after it's over. Good infinite. Finished him off. This game has a weird end of time segment. It's when the last cutscene starts, so I always listen for the music. So that's gonna be time. 2240. That's pretty good. My PB is 2222, and there were definitely some mistakes, albeit not very big ones, but still a good run. All the boss fights went as they needed to. Some of the stage sections were finicky, but that's the game sometimes. I love this game, but it is extremely random in a lot of ways. So sometimes, especially if I'm, playing it and talking about it at the same time, you just gotta hope for the best. Still love the game. Been playing it for well over 2 years now. As in running it. Playing it, it's been, how long has it been out? 25 years? Playing it ever since I was 10. So makes for a great game. Highly recommend it to anyone that wants to learn a beat-em-up speedrun and wants to obtain some technical ability. It's super cool. It's super great. Can't recommend enough. Thank you so much for all the GGs, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed that.